Hi, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Sammy.
And welcome to Extra Magic Minutes. Yes, this is a new segment that we have got going on the Team Unicorn podcast. With the Team Unicorn podcast.
Our Extra Magic Minutes.
Yes, Extra Magic Minutes. These are just going to be small, little, condensed, shortened bonus episodes that we're just going to kind of drop randomly. We don't really know when or why we're going to drop them.
A little sprinkle of pixie dust.
Yes, instead of extra,
all of you.
Instead of extra magic hours at Disney, we're gonna do extra magic minutes
here at Team Unicorn Podcast.
Yes, definitely, and we couldn't think of a better way to start off our first extra magic minutes than with talking about Miss Marvel.
Yes, Miss Marvel. Oh my goodness, I am so excited for Miss Marvel, and it's been long overdue for her to make her screen debut. And I'm so glad that it's a series.
Yes, we have been following this Kamala and her story for so long now. Absolutely love the comics. She's one of my favorite characters in all of Marvel comics. And as soon as they announced this project was happening, I feel like forever ago.
I know. I don't remember exactly when they said that it was.
I think it was like the summer of 2019 or something that they announced it, because that's when they announced like Loki and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I just out of all the titles, I know that this one wasn't the biggest title, but this is the one I was most excited for.
Yes, this was the one for us that we've been the most excited for. We've been waiting for this one.
And it did not disappoint.
No. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Yes, the characterization of Kamala was so on point. I couldn't think of a better person to play her than Iman Vellani. No. Iman, yes. She is such a great actress. I feel like she definitely embodies the spirit of...
She's literally Kamala in real life.
Yes.
You don't get any more perfect. She literally dressed up
as Miss Marvel for Halloween.
And she's a big
cosplayer, and she's really big into the comics.
Yep, into the comics, the whole MCU, big Robert Downey Jr. fan. She's literally the perfect person.
Yes. I absolutely adored this episode. I feel like it was the perfect first episode to get you acquainted with these characters. Like you said, I feel like it was perfect to have it start off as a series instead of kind of just shooing her into a movie and not really getting the background of her, because there's just so much to explore with her character and her home life and her culture. You definitely need more than just one movie.
For sure, because she is a Pakistani American, and they don't shy away from that at all. You get to see her family, and they're Muslim, and all of the cultural references, the way that they speak and talk to each other. When she's going out shopping with her mom, and you get to see all of the...
Oh, that was such a cool scene. It felt so vibrant and fun, and it's really, like you said, it's really playing into the cultural diversity that Marvel's trying to bring in there. There's so much going on in this I was gonna say film. It almost felt like a film.
Into the series, and it's really needed, because there's just so much, and I think introducing her into a movie of any kind, I just don't think would do it justice. So no. I'm really glad that we get the series.
Yeah, so absolutely love the series. We watched it right away on Wednesday, and we knew going into watching we needed to talk about this. We needed to have we needed to figure out something to talk about this, because we couldn't just keep it in for so long.
Yeah, for sure.
So what were maybe some of your favorite parts of the episode?
Okay, so I really liked... Well, I love the whole Avenger Con thing, getting ready for that. I just thought that was just so perfect, just for her as a character, but then us too, because we're fans. So it just I really liked that part of it.
And it's kind of different seeing a character like Kamala be a fan of the Avengers in the world of the Avengers. Obviously we see the Avengers and we're a fan of them, but I can tell I can separate Robert Downey Jr. from Iron Man. I can separate Chris Evans from Captain America, but these characters like Kamala and her friends and Bruno, they don't have that. This is their real life. I thought it was really awesome. I was just reading an article about the Avengers Con, and they were talking with the showrunner, and he's these people in Jersey City or like in New York, they don't really know some of these characters by name. So like that's why they refer to Groot as Mr. Tree, because they don't know
Yes.
Groot's name. Like
Yeah.
we know Groot's name because like Rocket and Star-Lord and all these characters have said it over and over and over on
In
the
the
big screen in the movies, but like they don't know Groot's name
Right.
is Groot. And I'm just like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. So
Yes.
you're getting this whole other like almost experiencing these movies and these events through the eyes of someone who's actually lived them.
Yeah.
And like it's such a cool, unique
Mhm.
experience, and I'm so glad that they're like kind of showing that in this series.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other favorite parts?
Well, I really liked the part when she is talking to her guidance counselor.
Oh yes.
And he makes the reference from Mulan. And
oh, that was such a good Easter egg.
yes, like I picked up on that one right away. And then they showed them like side by side, like, and that's kind of like in Mulan, like when she's taking off like the other half of her makeup, like, and it really just goes deeper into the story of like Kamala trying to figure out like who she is, and like I don't know, so I really liked that.
Yeah, and her mom really kind of harps on it at the end of the episode where she's like, you need to focus on you. And she's not necessarily saying like, I know like her mom is saying like you need to focus on like your schoolwork, you need to focus on like your life. But then like Kamala takes it as, I need to focus on being a superhero.
Yeah.
I need to focus on these awesome new powers that I have that maybe are a little different from the comic book, which I feel is fine.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with it.
I don't, and I think that they're really building up to like having this be like kind of like an ancestral thing that like her grandma had, but then her mom didn't want any part of.
Right. Yeah, like just based off what we've seen from her mom, like that just wouldn't never be the life that she would choose.
And I feel like her mom is like written perfectly, like a great adaptation from the comics. Like her mom and dad, her dad is really funny in the comics, but he's really strict, and he kind of goes back and forth and toes that line. I feel like maybe he's a little bit more lenient in the TV series, and maybe the mom picks up more of like the strictness. But like I feel like the whole family, even Amir, that's such great. They're written so great, and it's such a perfect adaptation from the comic books for me so far.
I really like the scene when her mom comes in with the costume, the Hulk costume.
Oh my god, I was so embarrassed for everyone involved.
Like it was so initially I'm like, oh, that's really sweet of her. And then her dad pops in like full Hulk costume, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like her parents are kind of like, they're sweet and like they're trying. And then Kamala's just like, no, there's no like big Hulk, little Hulk thing. And
I really wanted so bad for Abu to go to ACON or AdventureCon in his like Pakistani Hulk costume. Like that would have been so cool. Just watch him, like he would have been like such an awkward duck there. Like he wouldn't know what anything is going on. But like he's making the effort for Kamala, and like I just felt so bad for him.
I know, it's just so precious. And then like just how it all ended, I'm like, I just feel bad for everybody now. Like it was just like it was so cute for like 30 seconds, and then it just
dissolved real quick.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's a bummer.
But getting back to like the Avengers Con or ACON, that really reminded me a lot of the Avengers video game that was put out a couple years ago.
I kept thinking that when I saw you play it, like that's how that video game opens, because they don't have that part in the comics.
No, and this, I feel like they took kind of two different mediums and melded them together for a really good purpose for this. I think just the Avengers Con in general is an awesome idea. Like I want to go.
Yes.
But then kind of making it the same kind of experience as Kamala has when she is walking on the ship at the opening scenes in the Avengers video game, where she's going around collecting all the different comic books and she's seeing all these different characters, and Thor comes in. Like that was such a good, like if you played the game, like you understood like that was what it was referencing. But it was such a cool experience to kind of see that kind of transitions over into like the actual MCU.
Yes. Yeah, I really like that. And then that's where you see like her, because she puts on the bangle, and that's how she gets her powers, and she's just trying to figure what's going on at this like huge event. And you see her embiggen, like, with her arm,
Oh,
and
she needs to say embiggen.
I know.
Like, I really wanted her, like, to be like, I need to figure out how this bangle works. How does this work? Like, and then kind of do like how
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man did in like the first Spider-Man movies, where he's just kind of like trying to shoot his webs out, and he's saying all these different phrases, and nothing like finally works. Like, I really want her to say embiggen somewhere in this series. Like,
she
it needs
will.
to happen.
Yeah. So, but I don't know, just to kind of like see it starting, and then she saves Zoe, which in the comics she saves Zoe
in a similar way.
Yeah, because she reaches her out, and well, in the comics it's in the water.
Yeah, picks her up from the Hudson River.
Yeah, but in this case, like, she's falling, and gets her arm out, and
yeah, I feel like it was a really good introduction and really good teaser for what her powers can be.
Yes.
I don't know if this is where it's going or where it's heading, but I'm really getting like Shang-Chi vibes from those bangles.
Yes, yeah, it's kind of like a mix of Shang-Chi and Turning Red.
Yes, I remember you said, like, after you guys said, like, I can kind of see where Turning Red from the new Pixar movie kind of, like, it kind of makes sense. It kind of goes along with this really,
just
really well.
Yeah, just a little bit, just like with the, like, ancestral, like, kind of powers, and like
Mom's trying to hide it.
Yeah, so I just kind of like getting a little mix of everything, and I was just getting those vibes. So
I also want to mention, like, one of my favorites Easter eggs. Well, a couple of my favorite Easter eggs is one. We didn't see this or notice this until we watched like an Easter egg video like this morning. A Trust a Bro moving truck.
The movie truck.
The moving trucks from Hawkeye show up in the credits at the end of the show.
Yeah.
I want to just take a moment. Like, the credits are probably one of my favorite parts of it, because it's all like original artwork or artwork that's taken from the comic books. Like from some of the comic book covers or some of the panels in there, and they're like plastering them up all on the walls in Jersey City. I felt like that was awesome. When she's walking with Bruno talking about going to Akon, and like Black Panther Captain Marvel mashup is on there, and Zombie Captain Marvel's up there, and like it's just so cool to see, like, she can see all these things in her head, and then you're seeing it visualized on the screen.
Yeah, I really like that style. I like, and like you get that vibe from like when it first opened, like
that stop motion scene, the kind of movie that she was making.
Yeah, like you kind of get that vibes in the beginning, and then like when like her and Bruno are kind of texting throughout the first episode.
Amazing scene.
Like, I really
that was perfect.
I loved how they did that. So
like it was so seamless. It made total sense. I loved the different like neon lights on the circle cue getting lit up. It was, I felt like that was the perfect representation. And then she's in in her room, and all the stars are going, and then she said no, like her mom said no, like it was absolutely perfect.
Like I'm assuming it's going to continue throughout the episodes, and I really hope it does. I really enjoy that. So
and then I thought one last little thing that I thought was really, really cool. You're going into her school, and as you see the front of the school, there's a plaque on the side of the wall.
Yep. We noticed G. Willow Wilson.
Yep, I noticed her name
right
almost
away.
Immediately.
But we didn't realize, like, I guess I didn't notice all the other names too.
Yep, and those are all the creative names that have worked on the comic books, like the original, like the artist and colorizer on there. So I thought that was a really cool nod to incorporate all those artists into the series. And the counselor's name is Mr. Wilson.
Yep.
But his first name is Gabe. And so I'm going to just bet that his middle name is like William or Walter, because it's got to be G. Willow Wilson or G.W. Wilson. It's right. It's G. Wilson right now. There's no way that was not coincidence. But I loved everything about this episode. I'm really excited to see where this goes and where Kamala's powers go. And then she's got to say embiggen.
She will. It'll happen.
And I really enjoy just the kind of little nods like that you're kind of getting between her and Bruno. I think Bruno's got a little bit of a crush on her. I really hope that this ends really, really well, but I know how it kind of goes in the comics, so I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen it, but we'll see what happens. But I'm very excited to see where the series goes. Yeah,
I am too. Like I said, we were just so excited when this was announced, and just finally seeing it, it didn't disappoint. It was amazing, and I can't wait for more episodes.
Right, and we got 5 more episodes of this, and then eventually we're going to see her join up with Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel herself, Carol Danvers, and the Marvels. It's going to be so good.
Yes. I love Captain Marvel, and Miss Marvel has just been a favorite too, and to finally see them come together. Oh my gosh.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be too much, but I'm so here for it.
All right. So like I said, this is just going to be a small little condensed episode of the Team Unicorn podcast. We're calling this Extra Magic Minutes. So we're not sure when the next episode's going to drop or what it's going to be about. We might review episode number 2. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're not really sure. We just knew for sure we wanted to talk about the first episode.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So if not, maybe we'll just throw some thoughts in an Instagram post. So make sure you're following us on there.
Yes, follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube because that's where you're gonna get ring the notification bell. So that way, if we drop one of these random ones that's not on a Wednesday, you know that we dropped an episode.
Yeah, and make sure that you subscribe wherever you're listening to your podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Anchor.
Yep, all those places we have that. And
get the notifications.
Yes, and leave us a comment down below or on our Instagram. Like, what was your favorite part of the first episode of Miss Marvel?
What did you think? I think there's a lot to unpack in this first episode. I mean, so many Easter eggs.
Oh, so many.
So, like, did you spot one that you really liked? How she got her powers. Are you like upset? Are you okay with it? Like, what are your thoughts? Like, we want to know what you think.
And maybe we're just blind because we're huge Miss Marvel fans, but we're like, we love everything.
I know, we just love everything.
All right, well, for Team Unicorn,
I'm Sammy.
And I'm Tyler.
And it's been extra magical.